Hey mates, Paul here, and it's time to revisit a classic 8-bit game from my childhood, Sonic the Hedgehog. But you're probably asking, wait, isn't it a 16-bit game for the Sega Genesis? Well, it had two versions, one for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, and the one that I'm reviewing is for the Sega Game Gear Master System. So, let's get this started.
Shoryuken!
Oh boy, do I have a history with this one. Back when I was very young, me and my older brother were visiting my father for the holidays, when me and my older decided to buy, or hire at a video store, the Sega Mega Drive, with the game Hang On. The game looked great, but there was one problem. The controller was absolutely shit. The buttons worked fine, you can go right, but you can't go left. Something was jamming a left input on the directional pad, and it was unplayable. So, next Christmas, my mother got me my first playable console, the Sega Master System 2, and boy did I have a lot of fond memories with this. The console we bought had Alice Kid and the Miracle World built within the system, the first video game I've ever played. Me and my older sister had a blast playing it. Oh, Alice Kid, later on I will review you on a later date. Later on, video stores were having rental video games, and the first one we rent was Sonic the Hedgehog. And that game I had a blast. The game was colorful, it was fast, it had great music, and we had a fun times with it. Until we have to give it back to the store, that is. Sure, I was missing out on some of the Genesis Sonic games, but I didn't care. I was fine with my Master System. I always wanted to try out the Mega Drive games, but like I expected, the controller left input didn't work. I don't know what was causing it. Is it like a safety mechanism on the controller or something? I don't know. Sadly, I don't have the Master System console with me anymore, but many years later in my high school years, I picked up Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the Xbox. It had all the Genesis games, including the Game Gear classics, including Sonic the Hedgehog for the Game Gear, which played like the Master System version. Oh jeez, listen to me go on and on. You want to know how it's different from the Genesis version? Well, let's not waste any more time, let's get right to it. The story is exactly the same as the Genesis version. Dr. Robotnik is trying to take over South Island by kidnapping animals, turning them into robots, and collecting the Chaos Emeralds. It's up to Sonic to save his animal buddies and stop Dr. Robotnik. Due to hardware limitations of the Master System and the Game Gear, the game's level design is significantly more straightforward than its 16-bit counterpart. There are no shuttle loops or alternate pathways, as the game is based around basic side-scrolling platforming, and the only way to gain more momentum is to use slopes, springboards, and ramps. Because of this, the game tends to be a bit more challenging due to a large amount of obstacles and different level gimmicks. But you still get 50 rings and go to the bonus stages where you can score loads of rings for 1-ups and continues, but you don't get a Chaos Emerald. Well, where are the Chaos Emeralds? Well, they're hidden throughout the stages. Yep, they're no longer a special stage item, but a hidden item. Collect all 6 Chaos Emeralds and they'll give you a different ending and loads of points, but that's about it. Exclusive to the Master System and Game Gear versions, there are 3 new stages with the returning free stages from the 16-bit versions. Bridge Zone, which has one of my favorite soundtracks in the game, Jungle Zone, which looks beautiful, has an upbeat song, but with waterfalls that hurt my eyes for staring at it for too long. And finally, Sky-Based Zone, a zone which you have to dodge electricity poles that you have to avoid while jumping over bottomless pits. And unlike the 16-bit versions where you get hit and lose all your rings and scatter all over the place for you to pick up, in the 8-bit version you lose all your rings and you cannot recover them. So you better be careful. The 8-bit version of Sonic the Hedgehog is just as fun as the 16-bit version. If you ever get your hands on the Sonic Mega Collection Plus, make sure you give it a go. It may not have those fancy loop-de-loops, but it's a fantastic side-scroller, and I highly recommend trying it out. It's also available with the Nintendo eShop for $6.50, and I highly recommend giving it a try. As for the rating, well, I decided not to do the ratings because they're overdone in any other reviews as well. For my next review, it comes down to a vote. I have a review on Mega Man Star Force or Mega Man Zero. I'll be hosting the voting poll on Twitter, so make sure you go and check that out. Anywho, Thank you for watching. My name is Paul, and I hope you guys have a great day.